This is Jacob13 here, and today I'll be doing a video on how Spain should move forward after this World Cup. They're obviously out of the tournament, which is very disappointing. I am a big, big Spain fan, and they're by far my favorite team. Really lost a lot of interest in the tournament after they originally got knocked out. Uh, Portugal's still in it, my second favorite team, but Spain getting knocked out was very, very disappointing, and you could blame a lot of different things, but I think it's mainly just they couldn't keep winning forever. But anyways, what they should do now with the squad is what this video is about, because obviously there needs to be a lot of changes. Even if you think that they could still win with their current squad, there are a lot of players that are getting really old. There's a lot of players that are going to be retiring after this World Cup, and they can't rely on certain players anymore for very much longer. Like Xavi is most likely not going to play in the Euros, so therefore wouldn't really have any use playing in friendlies up until that point or qualifying. And if he's even still playing for the national team at that point, and that's the case with a lot of different players. So, anyways, this is the team that I think Spain should use in every friendly, every qualifier until the Euros, and use this team at the Euros. And there's a lot of players that got dropped. There's a lot of players that were on the bench or like just weren't used that are moved in there. The only players in the starting lineup that kept their spots were Alba and Ramos, and then the rest are gone. All the other players dropped from the squad except for Casillas, Iniesta, Silva, and Pedro. And Jesus Rodriguez there didn't actually go, but might have played. Probably not, but he could have if he didn't get an injury before the World Cup. And then there's a couple of these players that didn't go to the World Cup. But anyways, this is, I'd say, Spain's best kind of youthful team, but with a little bit of experience as well. Because I don't think that Iniesta is going to be that great in the Euros. So I think they should start to use Fabregas a little more. Fabregas is a little bit younger, and just use like maybe Fabregas and Iniesta 50-50 for games up until the Euros, and then use Fabregas from that point on. And then Mata isn't really that young, but he's not old either, and he's still got a lot of playing time left, and he's really good out in that left wing position. Then there's Thiago and Isco in the offensive mid positions. Koke obviously can play in the center mid or offensive mid position as well. But those two, probably Spain's best young offensive mids that have a lot of potential, and by the Euros, they could be at one of the highest points in their careers. They're obviously very promising youth players, and then Koke as well. But I've just got him out on the right because he does play there quite often for Atletico Madrid, and he can easily play there for Spain as well. And then Morata up front, you may not have heard of Morata, but he's a very good Real Madrid player that's used off the bench. He has the most goals per minute of any La Liga player, even higher than Ronaldo and Messi. Um, just because he had like 20 some appearances, but most of them were from the bench, and most games that he did come on as a substitute. He only played like 5 to 10 minutes. Um, but he still managed to score 8 goals and I think get 1 assist in all those. So he's obviously had a very good season, and I think that he will continue to get better. I'd say next FIFA even he'll be up to a 79 probably, and he'll continue to get better as he starts to play more. Um, with Benzema, it's obviously hard to get into the Real Madrid team, so it's kind of understand why he's used as a substitute. I think if they loaned him off to a different team, maybe for a season or two, then he would gain, like he would grow a lot more with more playing time. But given the right amount of playing time, he can be a great striker. Then Ramos, Alba in the team because I'd say they're probably the only players fit to stay in the squad. De Gea, obviously, Spain's youth goalkeeper that's still got plenty of experience with Manchester United, and I think he'll probably be one of the best goalkeepers in the world at some point in his career. And then Martinez from Real Sociedad and Carvajal from Real Madrid. And then there's just the bench. The obviously experienced players that don't really deserve to be dropped entirely, but also shouldn't be playing every game. And there's four of them, and then Bartra, Azpilicueta, and Jose Rodriguez in there, because they're another three youth players that have a lot of potential. And Bartra, you could put in that um, center back spot right there, and Azpilicueta you could put in for Carvajal. Same for Jose Rodriguez and for Morata. It really just depends on which ones perform the best. And then this is how I think that team would look like closer to the European Championship in 2016. And obviously that's what Spain should be looking forward to, because uh, anything between then, it's just preparing for that tournament, qualifying for it, and then obviously after that it'll be the World Cup again. But they just need to move on from this World Cup and start preparing for the next major tournament, which they can still easily win if they just make the right changes. And I think this is what the squad would look like, with a lot of players getting a lot better. Juan Mata and Fabregas, I think, would increase slightly. They get a little bit better, but I think they'd probably reach their peak either the season before the Euros or at the Euros, and then they'll start to decline from there. Same with Ramos. Alba might peak a little bit later after the Euros, and then there's all these young players. That's how I think they'll end up looking like near to the Euros, and then that is the bench. Obviously, Casillas is gonna be. Um, he's already. A lot of people think his career is pretty much over. I think he still does have a couple more good seasons in him at Real Madrid if he is chosen to play, which I think he should be because he's still better than Diego Lopez. But he'll be pretty old. He'll be 35, I think, um, by the Euros, but in 2016. Probably will not start. Most likely will not start for Spain by then. But I'd say he'll probably still be on the bench unless they can find another goalkeeper. It's maybe a bit younger. And then Bartra, Azpilicueta, Iniesta, Silva, Pedro, and Rodriguez still in there. And I think that obviously these three youth players are going to increase. They're going to get a lot better. And then Iniesta down by quite a bit, I think, because he will be 31, I'm pretty sure by then, and he's already started to didn't have the greatest season with Barcelona, and then obviously didn't play that amazingly for Spain either. Um, so I think by the Euros he definitely won't be a starter for Spain. But David Silva, I don't think he's shown many signs of like he's actually probably improved this season over last season, but I don't think he'll continue to improve. I think he's probably hit his peak right about now, and he was probably one of Spain's best players in this tournament. But anyways, and then Pedro's just in there because I think he is one of Spain's dangerous players that just can't be dropped from the team, and he will probably play a couple matches in the Euros, and obviously could have a big impact in qualifying as well. But I'd say he should be used as a substitute for Koke. So anyways, that's about it. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.